Good morning, YouTube. It is Tuesday, February 13th, 2024, 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. It is a crisp day in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Valentine's Day tomorrow. Fellas, get right. I already did that part, so I just had to rush through it. All right, we had a busy slate of games yesterday across the NBA. A couple things I want to talk about. I think I want to start, okay? And I feel like we have to start with this because, guys, I really don't think people are fully grasping what's going on here. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, one, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can check these out live every morning, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time on playback.tv/slightlybiased. If you're watching this on playback.tv/slightlybiased, you can tune in to these post-stream on the Slightly Biased Clips channel over on YouTube. I don't think people, I think people kind of gave up on this team whenever it was kind of clear early on that they were going to be an absolute travesty. I think people sort of gave up on this team when it was kind of clear early on that they were going to, sort of scuffle and didn't have the roster construction I think some of us wanted to see surrounding this player. But my Lord, if you've been paying attention over the past couple of weeks, and by weeks, I mean really the past couple months, so it's about mid-December, this guy is just... I'm like not trolling at all. I'm like actually kind of scared of Victor Wembanyama and what his future is. Because if I told you tomorrow, or if I told you next year, Victor Wembanyama is a top 5 player in the league, how surprising is it? Like, how surprised would you be if I came from the future a year from now and said, hey, guess what? The Spurs traded for a point guard. Victor Wembanyama is up to like 61% true shooting. And he's averaging 4.8 blocks per game. And he's a top 5 player in the league. I'm thinking I wouldn't be very surprised. Like, I'd be like, wow, okay, great. I mean, that's fast. But I really wouldn't be that surprised. Where do you rank him right now? Great question. I'm happy you asked that because I'm just saying I have already started my work on my top 100 players list that will drop during the All-Star break. I'm not entirely sure what day specifically, but it is going to come out. Top 30, I feel like, is obvious. He's clearly a top 30 player. Especially the way that he's been playing lately. I mean, he leads the league in blocks per game. I don't know if you guys are aware that he leads the league in blocks per game. He leads the league in total blocks. Somebody who's been on a minute restriction for the entire season. What this guy's doing is unbelievable. 27 points last night against the Raptors. Again, 29 minutes. Rarely ever does he play over 30 minutes. In fact, I don't know the last time he played over 30 minutes. He did have a 25-minute restriction, but that restriction's been bumped up to around 30. And he's only played over 30 minutes twice since the beginning and middle part of December. Yeah, the turnover numbers have been high for him, and that's the rookie stuff. The turnover numbers have actually been incredibly high. Just over his last 13 games, looking at it right now, he's averaging nearly 5 turnovers a game. So that's the huge blemish on his game currently. But part of that is, one, being a rookie with the ball in his hands, being a 7'4" rookie who's still just kind of trying to refine himself offensively. Having the ball in his hands that much. And also just a kind of weird offensive team that doesn't really feel obviously not complete, right? But my God, this guy, defensively, he's a nightmare. I mean, he's a nightmare. If you're starting a traditional big against him who can't shoot, you're in some deep jeopardy. The Mavericks play the Spurs tomorrow night. I'm kind of interested if they start Maxey. It's what they did in their first game of the season, right? Obviously, we all kind of were like, all right, Derek Lively's starting, and then the starting lineups came out, and Maxey was starting, and Derek Lively was coming off the bench. I'm sort of interested to see if they go with Maxey in the starting 5 tomorrow night, and they play like that, because you kind of need somebody who can stretch the floor against them, because if he's just allowed to help off of a big, it's going to be a nightmare for you. You're going to have a very difficult time helping in the paint. And yeah, last night he was just able to help off of Jakob Poeltl all night long. The game starts. Game starts last night. Let's see if it's game starts. Wemby gets a block right before this play. So the first play of the game, Wemby blocks the shit out of Jakob Poeltl. It's funny because it looked like Poeltl had him. Poeltl put a body on him. Wemby got knocked back a little bit. I was like, all right, here we go. Poeltl's going to get to the rim. And even though he got knocked back a little bit, he's still able to recover, block Jakob Poeltl's shot at the rim. Then comes back down the floor. I'm just going to knock down this three really quickly. I mean, just absolutely insane. Yes, I do remember Wemby's debut. Derek Lively actually did a really great job, and Derek Lively straight up outplayed him in game 1 of the season. But this is a different player. This is a different player than the Victor Wembanyama we saw earlier in the season. I mean, a flip has switched. A switch has flipped. A switch is flipped for him. A flip has switched. A switch is flipped. Oh, wait. This is why you look at the turnover numbers and you're like, yeah, if you watch the game, it's like, it's okay. It's okay if he turns the ball over a lot right now. Because you see plays like this right here where you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. He's getting a quadruple double. I don't know when, but he's getting one. He's getting a quadruple double. I'm not entirely sure when, but it's happening. And if he starts to knock down that three ball a little bit more, and hey, how about this? Over his last 5 games, 52% from 3. Can I say something? Because I tweeted out, or anytime, especially like Mavs fans that I see, anytime Mavs fans tweet out like something about Victor Wembanyama, there's always Mavs fans / Luka fans in the comments are like, not worried about him. Oh, don't care about him. Oh, yeah. What about this? What about that? It's like, dude, this guy's a problem. Okay. Dude. This guy's an issue. Would you be surprised if I told you Wemby might be the best player next season? Okay. I'd be a little bit surprised by Wemby being the best player. Again, top 5, I could be like, oh, okay, wow. Early, but all right. But I'm if the Spurs decide to go super aggressive in the offseason, if the Spurs decide to go uber aggressive in the offseason and really upgrade that roster, go after a point guard, maybe even a star point guard who plays in Atlanta and is not named DeJounte Murray. And no, I'm not talking about Kobe Buffkin. It could be problem quickly. No, not Trent Forrest. Yeah, they do need to keep upgrading their roster. And I'm just interested to see what their approach is. A lot of people thought, hey, maybe they go aggressive in the summer and just say, hey, and they just say, hey, you know what? This kid's going to be so good as a rookie that we can't really afford a tank. So, like, we're going to be aggressive now. Obviously, that didn't happen, and they're terrible, so they are tanking. Thought maybe they could be a somewhat aggressive, shocking buy team at the trade deadline. Didn't really do much. We'll see if they take an approach kind of similar to what the Mavs did in Luka's rookie year, where it was like, all right, this kid's too good. We can't sit around and wait forever. We'll go out and get Kristaps Porzingis. Now, the difference is the Mavericks had no assets, really. And the Mavericks burned pretty much all of their assets for that. The Spurs do have a lot of assets. Poppin wants a Merc Trey 5 games in. He's like the antithesis of what he values in basketball. Yeah, that's the part to me. Because wasn't Pop still the coach of Team USA whenever Trey like famously didn't make the team? And I think he even didn't make the select team or whatever it was. So yeah, maybe. But damn, man. it would be pretty good fit, I think, offensively at least. Yeah, if the Thunder got the first overall pick and Wembanyama, I mean, this shit would be a joke. So, anyways, Victor Wembanyama, yeesh, man, yeesh. The Raptors are in a bad way. Scotty Barnes, 7 points in this game. Dude, he looks terrible lately. Like, he's been playing horribly. I did see Scotty walking out early. I don't know. Since they traded away OG, like, some of the fit stuff has been really weird. It's like there's a weird hierarchy. Like a weird, strange sort of. Wait, what are we doing as a team? Whose team is it going to be now? Like, I thought post these trades, it'd be like, all right, Scotty, it's your team now. But then it's like RJ is like, no, wait, it's my team. And Emmanuel quickly is like, wait, it's actually my team. So here's Scotty Barnes walking out early before the game ends. They got some problems. And this is the tough part of the rebuild process. Is, in theory, it's fun. This idea of like, all right, we're going to blow it up and build around Scotty and get all this young talent in here. Well, then there's the part where you lose a lot of fucking games. And it's really unfun. That part is. Especially early on. When you first rip that Band-Aid off. There's like that brief little honeymoon period. Where some of the young guys play well. Maybe you win a couple games here and there. The Raptors had that exact scenario happen. And then after a while, reality sets in a tough way. So you just gotta fight through it, Raptors fans. It's not gonna be a lot of fun. In the roster construction for the Raptors is kind of weird, where it's like, okay, Scotty Barnes, Jakob Poeltl, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley. That's not a good team, but that's not like a super young. Like, all right, we've burned this thing down. Like RJ Barrett's making like what, over $25 million. Close to $30 million. You have to pay Emmanuel Quickley in the summer. You just paid Jakob Poeltl. Scotty Barnes, I think, has already signed his rookie max, right? I don't know if that's kicked in yet. All right, is he extension eligible in the summer? Yeah, he's extension eligible in the summer, and he's going to get a rookie max. So, yeah, they exactly. The Raptors should have already done this. Like this should have been an easier process where maybe we don't take RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley, and instead we just get picks for Siakam and picks for OG, and we're kind of like rebuilding in that way, where we're able to go into a draft and really handpick the players we want instead of like trying to force RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley. Grady Dick's been playing a little bit better lately. He did kind of get embarrassed by. It's kind of funny, like watching. I mean, he had a good game last night, but he had that sequence at the end of the game when Wemby got his 10th block. And it's like, he looked like the freshman going up against the Division I recruit senior. Just hilarious. All right, the Mavericks currently are tied with the Warriors for the longest winning streak in basketball, 5 games. This after the Cavaliers finally lost the game last night. And it wasn't the prettiest, and it wasn't always the most enjoyable. But it was a win nonetheless for the Mavericks, who, again, 5 straight wins. Some things are starting to click a little bit for the team in a way that's kind of interesting. That's kind of interesting. Obviously, Daniel Gafford had the gaudy numbers: 16 points, 17 rebounds, 7 offensive rebounds, 5 blocks, 2 steals in only 24 minutes. Luka had 15 assists. Kyrie with 26 in a pretty dominant fourth quarter. And just kind of now that the game's over and we can look back on it, I mean, this is what really good teams do. That's just the reality. Yeah, it doesn't really look like you have it. You come out sluggish against the Wizards. I mean, if you lose this game, if you ended up losing this game, I don't think it would have been a game where you say, oh, this is who this team is. Like, they actually might not be good. It would have been one of those frustrating games where you say, man, the team just didn't bring it tonight. Team just did not have it. Unfortunate. But you pull it out at the end. In a fourth quarter where your defense was incredible, flying around. This little lineup the Mavericks can go to with Maxey at the 5, especially the way Maxey's been playing lately, PJ Washington, and those be your small ball bigs is really interesting and has been good. And this is like super small. I mean, we're talking 27 minutes, but this is just using the numbers as to just kind of back up the eye test. A 77 defensive rating in 27 minutes. Yeah, we still need to wait and see what it looks like over a larger stretch. And part of that was against the Wizards, who aren't a good team. But the eye test does show. I mean, even against the Thunder, who are one of the best teams and offenses in the league, the eye test shows that this group's kind of interesting defensively. But we've seen peaks and valleys with this team defensively where it feels like, hey, like the defense is trending in the right direction, and then they'll have like a 2-week stretch where they're the second worst defense in the league, and it's like, oh. Never mind. So we'll see. But the reality is the Mavericks have better defensive personnel now than they did a couple weeks from now. And especially with Maxey healthy and looking really good. So it's exciting times. I would love for the Mavericks to get a win on tomorrow night against the Spurs. That's not going to be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. Last game before the All-Star break. I think a lot of guys are looking forward to the All-Star break. And it's easy to slip up around this time. And the Spurs are just this young team with you said PJ was catastrophic during the stream. Did I say catastrophic? That sounds extreme. PJ looked a little uncomfortable offensively early in the game to me. Like he's still kind of dealing with some jitters. Like just a little hesitant, not even like catching the ball. Does that make sense? Like not catching the ball cleanly. Still looks a little, nervous. But he made some nice plays offensively down the stretch. And his defense was good all game long. Am I worried about his three-point shot? I mean, he's just an inconsistent shooter. It's who he's been his entire career. I did say that in the PJ Washington video. Like, it's not like you're addressing super, like, a consistency thing. However, the big difference is Grant Williams' inconsistent shooting. If his three ball's not falling, guess what? You're not getting anything offensively. You're not getting anything. Same with, like, Derrick Jones Jr. Realistically, Derrick Jones Jr. is, can run the floor, can finish above the rim, does some interesting stuff attacking closeout. So it's not like he's, like, uber one-dimensional. But by and large, the three ball's not falling for some of the guys. You're not getting anything offensively. PJ Washington can at least dribble, put the ball on the deck. Went 4 of 6 on 2-pointers last night. So it's just an added dynamic that you are sorely in need of. Yeah, Josh Green's been playing great lately. Really hope, like, He's 23 years old. It is possible that he just has, that it is just for some reason this time of the year, he just turns it on. I mean, late bloomer, 23 years old, that's not even really that late. That's like normal. Everyone's like, be careful, Josh Green. Like, this is Josh Green every trade deadline. I don't know, man. Maybe he's just like figuring it out. Maybe he's just developing. Just plays well during Australian summer. Maybe. So a nice win for the Mavericks. Jaden Hardy's been playing really well lately, too. So that's nice. And then for the Wizards, I mean, it's actually insane how bad Jordan Poole is. It's like you feel like I genuinely do feel kind of bad for what's going on with Jordan Poole. Because, I think all of us kind of expected him to be, I mean, a travesty with the Wizards. It to be like bad, but like fun bad. Like he was going to put up like 36 points on 30 shots. But this is just, you say you don't think Jaden can develop here, still stand by that? He won't reach his full potential here. I can't imagine him getting the reps that he needs to like fully spread his wings. Maybe if Tim Hardaway Jr. gets moved, maybe. But still, I don't. The best version of Jaden Hardy is like somebody who has the ball in his hands and can do things offensively, and there's just not a lot of potential for that in Dallas. THA isn't expiring next year. I know we say this all the time. But I genuinely would be shocked if Tim Hardaway Jr. is on this team next season. Like, genuinely shocked. Biggest differential between teams' point per possessions after timeouts versus their typical half-court offense. Mavericks, great after ATOs and ATOs. That's actually hilarious. Tim Hardaway Jr. not being traded in the summer would be shocking. Shocking. And this isn't like a fuck Tim Hardaway Jr. trade him thing. This is he's an expiring contract at like a decent number and a player who, isn't terrible. So a team trading for him could either use him or flip him in theory. Is Kid a genius for showcasing Tim with Dumont in attendance? Oh, man. That's true. The Mavericks' new owner was in attendance last night for the first time. It's just such an interesting change of pace because he's just chilling there courtside. He's got the jacket on, the collared shirt on. Like, they only show him on the TV like 3 times, on the broadcast like 3 times. It's like this understood thing that's like, hey, look, we bought the team so we could build the fucking casino here. We're not with the rah-rah. We're not going to be Steve Ballmer or Matt Ishbia or Mark Cuban. Like, we're just kind of chilling. This is just like a fun little side project for us. What is this team missing to really compete for a championship? A solid two-way wing? Someone you could plug into the 3 and feel really good about. Someone who could be your starting small forward and you feel like really good about it. Or the 4, yeah. I don't think PJ can play the 3. It's better than Omax. I think PJ is just better suited to play the 4. I mean, Paul George would be great. Starting small forward has to be able to be a point of attack on this roster. I mean, I was thinking about it this morning. Caruso would be really interesting. Really interesting. Really, really interesting. Herb Jones, yeah. I mean, we'll see. There's always guys who are available in the trade market that you don't really expect. Caruso doesn't make your lineup too small. Caruso is one of those players where you actually can just throw his height out the window. He's one of the few and one of the very few perimeter players who like completely changes your defense almost single handedly. I mean, the Timberwolves are like a disappointing postseason series and performance away from like, hey, maybe Jaden McDaniels is actually available. I would be shocked, but the way that their contracts are. Speaking of the Timberwolves, they got a nice win last night. They went into LA and just absolutely curb stomped the Clippers. How about that? Timberwolves just keep this like fluctuating. Back-to-back wins, back-to-back blowout wins against the Bucks, against the Clippers. They're hot and cold, man. Times where it feels like, oh, okay, all right, maybe they are really good, and then other times you're like, oh yeah, they're basically begging to get upset in the first round. Like they're basically on their hands and knees. I don't know why ESPN changed their schedule like this. It looks fucking terrible, and I hate it. Maxey greater than Dean Wade. Dean Wade's been pretty good this year. Mid off. I feel like Maxey being able to play more of like a big role offensively is kind of a little bit better than Dean Wade, I think. So, anyways, nice win for the Timberwolves. Monte Morris plus 10 off the bench. How about that? Naz Reid coming off the bench is just so stupid. There are matchups where the Timberwolves, like the Clippers have struggled against the Timberwolves. So that'd be an interesting first round matchup. Even though I don't know what the fuck would have to happen for that to be a first round matchup. Can PJ be a cat stopper? Cat is the biggest cat stopper. Kyle Kuzma mentioned that the Wizards offered him a trade to Dallas, but he chose to stay in DC to build something there. Yeah, I saw Tim Cato say that this was like pretty much done. The Mavericks and Wizards had a Kuzma trade. And I'm assuming it was Kuzma and Gafford. What happened? Is the stream done? Is the stream down? Wait, what the hell happened? That was weird. It was perfectly fine on my screen. I would just see comments in the chat. Like, all right. What was the last thing you heard me say? Kyle Kuzma mentioned that Thaddeus Young's joining the Phoenix Suns. That's actually kind of interesting. Kuzma wanted to stay with the Wizards to help build something there. I mean, okay. Whatever. Asked by The Athletic why he told Winger he wanted to remain with the Wizards instead of joining the Mavericks, Kuzma answered, "In my career, I won a championship, so I understand that when we play the game of basketball, it's not about contending for a playoff spot. It's about contending for an NBA championship. There's only like 3 or 4 contenders, true contenders. I just felt like our timelines didn't line up." What? So Kuzma basically saying, I can't help that team win a championship. Okay. What is with these side-swiping shots of the Mavs with these quotes lately? I don't know. They just need to shut everyone the fuck up. Going back to the offseason. The best way to shut everyone the fuck up is to win. There's been so many annoying things said about the Mavericks in the last 8 to 10 months. Just win. Just win. You should have all of the bulletin board material that you need. Just win. Make everyone eat their words. Warriors also in the midst of a 5-game winning streak. They've been playing really, really well lately. Wiggins is starting to trend upwards again. It's kind of what I was saying. Like, it just kind of makes more sense for them, I think, to... It just kind of makes some kind of makes some more sense for them to just keep him and hope for the best. Yeah, Draymond's been playing great. Only a plus 11 tonight. Oh, ESPN straw poll, MVP straw poll's out? Uh-oh. Uh-oh, let's read. These are always interesting. Luka is currently 4th. He can climb up, though, man. He can climb up. He can keep climbing up, especially because Jokic isn't having that dominant of a season. So you could pass everybody in front of you. I think people are just begging somebody to come and take it from Jokic. Somebody just has to come take it. I would be kind of shocked if they gave it to Shea at the end of the day. I'd be a little bit shocked. I think they would give it to Jokic over Shea in the end. Because there's typically like a prerequisite for winning MVP. It's kind of rare for them just to give it to the new star immediately. Giannis, to me, it's like, man, have the Bucks been that good? Like, it feels like the Bucks have underachieved. And they got a great win last night against the Nuggets, and maybe they're starting to turn a corner a little bit. And if they do turn a corner and close out the season the way that we think they're capable of, okay, different story. But all in all, it feels like they've just kind of underachieved as a team. Luka's legit playing like the best player in the league. The Mavericks just need to win. They're not going to give it to the 8th seed. Like, that's just it. They're not giving it to a team that's 8th. They're just not going to do it. You get up to 6th, you get up to 5th, maybe. You're only a game behind 5th right now. You get up to 6th or 5th, all right. Now we can start. Jokic went to 16th. Yeah, I said 8th. The Mavs are the 8th seed currently. You're not getting the MVP as the 8th seed. Get up to that 6th or 5th spot, the conversation becomes a little bit more difficult to have. And true, I mean, you're 5 games behind the 4 seed right now. 5 games behind the 3 seed. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of ground to cover. That's a lot of ground to cover in the last 30 games of the season. I highly doubt you can cover that much ground. But you never know. Getting a top 4 seed would be absolutely shocking. You absolutely can. Yeah, but the thing is like, none of those teams in the top 4 have really shown signs of just a complete and total collapse being around the corner. You know what I mean? Kawhi 5th. He was not ranked. Who gave Jalen Brunson a fucking MVP vote? Who's giving Anthony Edwards a first place MVP vote? Get these people out. Get these people out. You want? Can I say something weird? The Timberwolves, where it's like, well, yeah, you got to reward winning. They're the 1 seed. You got to give them 2 All-Stars. They got to have an MVP thing. It's like, dude, they're a game and a half out of 4th. Like it's they are going to be the 1 seed, I guess, going into the All-Star break. But it would have been funny if they were the 3 seed. It was like, well, we had to give them a 2, and it's like, why? The Thunder are the 1 seed now. Why didn't they get 2? Well, the Nuggets are the 1 seed now. Why didn't they get 2? Like, the Timberwolves are the 1 seed. Congrats to them. They are nowhere near dominant enough as a 1 seed to be like, oh, well, you gotta reward them with all of these different things. Tatum 6th, Brunson 7th, Donovan Mitchell 8th. I'm interested to see when all these votes came in, because I feel like Donovan Mitchell should be maybe a little bit higher. Anthony Edwards, Kevin Durant, Haliburton, Sabonis. Okay. I think it's open. The Mavericks go on a run. I legit think that Luka has a real chance to win it. Last Monday, so a week ago, yesterday. Are you sure? Friday night through Sunday night. You guys just lying? I know this was posted 3 hours ago, but I was saying, like, when was this like voted on? Yep, I mean, they say it right here. The Mavericks just win games. Mavericks just win games. They got it. They'll have a chance, but you can't be the 8th seed. It's that simple. So we shall see. Anyways, back to the games last night. A nice win for the Warriors. They're really starting to figure some stuff out, man. They're now a game above 500 and slowly creeping up. The 10 seed right now. Got a game and a half up on the Jazz. I said this yesterday, I think, but the top 10 in the West, I think I'd be a little bit surprised if this is not how it ends up. Actually, I would say the top 10 in both conferences. I'd be a little bit surprised if a team on the outside creeps their way back in. Maybe the Jazz, but they've been scuffling a little bit lately. And it feels like all of these teams, I mean, look at this. No team in the top 10 in the West in the last 10 games has a losing record. I mean, that's crazy. He's like, I am depressed. Any ideas to get out of it? Feels like months I haven't felt good. I'm sorry to hear that. Eat better. Get some more sleep. Try to do a physical activity once a day. Figure out a hobby or something that you enjoy doing. Try to do it at least once a day. Figure out the things in your life that cause you stress that you feel like you can avoid and avoid those things. Like, I'm being dead serious when I say this. Whoever gave Anthony Edwards an MVP vote should have their vote taken away. It's Ant. Or it's Perkins. Did Kendrick Perkins seriously give him that? I mean, really the same for Brunson, too. Being dead serious. Whoever gave Anthony Edwards a first place vote should have their voting rights stripped immediately. Their voting rights. That kind of sounds privileges. Stripped immediately. This just since Bias wants to take voting rights away. Do not let this person vote on the real award. Like, genuinely. Do not let this person vote on the real award. Don't. Okay. Some of the other games last night. A couple teams that desperately need the All-Star break. That is the New York Knicks, who were just absolutely red, scorching hot, have now sort of scuffled a little bit. Granted, they've been dealing with a ton of injuries. Losers of 4 of their last 5 games. A heartbreaker last night to the Rockets. Obviously, the story of the game was that egregious last-second call. And just how terrible the officiating was in general against the Knicks last night. Egregious. No Rocket starters and plus minus. I'm trying to see if I can find a clip of it. Racetrack Coffee, I wasn't familiar with your game. I was not familiar with your game. All right, so the game was tied. The game was tied, and they called this a shooting foul on Jalen Brunson. Reviewed it and everything, and decided that it was in fact a shooting foul on Brunson. On just this Aaron Holiday one-handed, absolute prayer with 0.1 second left. They don't overturn it. Aaron Holiday hits 2 free throws, and that's the end of the game. Why is JB contesting that hard? You know, this is one of those things, and it's why you never, ever see half-court heaves, even if there might be some contact, why you almost never see them call it. Because it's like, all right, these shots don't have realistic chances of going in. So maybe if there is even marginal contact, we're just not going to call it. I mean, calling a foul. Great block right there by Precious. Calling a foul on this shot is just shocking. And then not only that, in the pool, in the like press pool after the game, they basically were like, yeah, we fucked it up. Yeah, we got that wrong. We got that call wrong. Yeah, Tibbs was pissed. Would they win a challenge to the outcome of the game? That's what I was wondering. If the refs post game are like, hey, we fucked it up. If they're like, okay, then can we protest it? So fucking bad. Fucking terrible. Tibbs is hilarious, man. Tibbs is hilarious. Jesus Christ. That was Australian. Being side by has been struggling with the pressures this past year. Hopefully this year I make it out. I mean, also seek professional help. Like, don't just come to me. Seek professional help. There are people who can help you. So the Knicks are in desperate need of the All-Star break, but they've needed like legit. They just need guys to get back and healthy. I mean, they're dealing with so many injuries right now. It's crazy. The Pacers, they might be a different story. They are also in desperate need of the All-Star break. They're losing a good amount of games. Theirs looks a little bit scarier to me than just the Knicks, where I could say, you know, they're just kind of injured. The Pacers have been in a losing way lately. Whole lot of red here. And I'm not so sure that this just isn't who they are. It's not. I'm just not so sure this isn't who they are. There's like a weird. So the Siakam and fit here kind of made a lot of sense to me. I thought that it would fit and he can run the floor and do all these different things. It feels really wonky in their offense, which had to be elite, like, and had to be scoring 130, 140 points a game because their defense is so fucking bad. Like, it had to be scoring that many points to win. Feels like it's just not there. It's really fallen off of a cliff. It feels like they're playing so much slower. Yeah, Halliburton has not been playing very well lately. And their defense is just terrible, man. These gimmicky-ass teams, it's just not cutting it. I won't include the Mavericks in the gimmicky-ass teams of great offenses, bad defense, because the Mavericks aren't trying to be gimmicky. They're just terrible on defense. And they've been better lately. But like the Kings and the Pacers, like these gimmicky-ass, yeah, we'll be terrible on defense. We don't fucking care. Like, I'm sorry. They changed their lineup and scheme to improve on defense and it took some away their offensive insanity. Yeah, that's true too. Maybe they just go back to saying, you know what, we got to score 145 points to win every game. So just get back into doing that. Yeah, and Buddy's gone. Try to replace Buddy with Doug McDermott. I mean, Buddy's just way better than Doug McDermott. So, I don't know. I don't know what to expect from this Pacers team moving forward. They're now. Hey, by the way, in the Eastern Conference, the Magic are the 6th seed. The Magic are currently the 6th seed in the East. Pacers are in a play-in spot. And how about the Hornets? 2-0 since they made all of their trades. Grant Williams with 21 off the bench. 18 for Seth Curry. How about that? Good for them. Good for them. I was looking at some Pacers fans, what they were thinking. Oh, they were distraught. I mean, they're about ready to sell the franchise after seeing Grant Williams put up 21. Funny how sensitive the Mavs fans are to the Grant Williams stuff. I really didn't think the Grant Williams quote was that bad. I thought that was just team talk. Like, yeah, we moved the ball around and it was great. You know, that's kind of. Like Halbert needs to find a better balance between being a facilitator and a scorer. Yeah. So, how about the Hornets, man? Play and push. Play and push. Cavaliers finally lose their winning streak. 9-game winning streak comes to an end. As Darius Garland missed a really good look for a game winner. But Donovan Mitchell had a great game again, 36 points. 9 of 20. He's been balling lately. He has been balling. Mavs 17-6 in the clutch games. What did I tell you guys all summer? All summer I said that shit fluctuates year to year, and the Mavericks were so bad in the clutch last year. Bulls beat the Hawks. Pelicans beat the Grizzlies. Grizzlies, I think, have lost 9 straight games now. I mean, what can you expect? Scottie Pippen Jr. starting. Like, what? Who's him hurt? Matt Hurt. Who is this? Trey Jimison. Lamar. I mean, look at this team, man. Lamar Stevens. I forgot he got traded there. He was in the Xavier Tillman trade. I forgot about that, actually, already. Hilarious. 1982 score line. Yeah, seriously. Did we miss any games? I think that's it. The Bucks get a really nice win against the Nuggets. Their best win of the Doc era by a lot. Nuggets were terrible last night. A great job by Milwaukee. And we're just kind of inching towards the All-Star break. Most teams, I think pretty much all teams, have 1 or 2 games left. Tonight we have Celtics and Nets. Thunder Magic on TNT. That's fun. That's a fun TNT game. Get those guys on national TV. Heat Bucks. Kings Suns. That's a good one with implications in the Western Conference. Timberwolves Blazers. Pistons Lakers. We are just winding down here. The pre-All-Star break. Teams desperately in need of a rest. Who's winning All-Star Game MVP? Is it finally Luka's year? Luka will never win an All-Star Game MVP. Ever. He genuinely does not give a shit at all about it. You just got to look at the people who try hard during the games. I think it could be Tyrese Halliburton. It's in Indiana. Could easily see it being him. It has to be somebody like Tatum, who's like, give me the ball. I don't give a fuck. I'm shooting every time because I need this. I need this. Like, I need this. That's what it was last year. That's what it felt like last year. I mean, am I wrong?